Absolutely, especially if you start to know what some of these players play. What like Joshua Satterfield right here on Ruby Sapphire.
And getting off to the typical Ruby Sapphire start with a turn 1 popsicle there. These decks right here, I think, represent the top 2 of the meta share. We have a lot of Amber Steel running around and a lot of Ruby Sapphire, so we're getting to see kind of the clash of titans, as it were. And here, out to enough fast start of his own, Daisy Duck, the ultimate turn 1 aggro play.
Right, inking a Pete, which you never love to do when your opponent probably has a Be Prepared, but seeing his hand, he may plan on winning before Be Prepared could even be a factor.
As some might say, all gas, no brakes.
Hitting a Tomato off Daisy, probably not many characters in the deck. Very lucky for Joshua there.
Yeah, so probably some ink there. But yeah, the game plan here, inevitability usually is with the Ruby Sapphire deck here with the big top end and ways to close out the games very quickly, or to start looping Pirate's Life. So Jack Shadows here hoping to get under this Ruby Sapphire deck and win the game before it can get its end game online.
Absolutely.
Joshua though hitting the ramp perfectly and he is off to the races.
Yeah, and this Scrooge Drink Duck, itemless, accidentally revealing the bottom card of the deck. They're going to do the proper thing here, call the judge, as you should. Accidents do happen. The judge is going to acknowledge what happened, possibly issue a caution. But yeah, this Scrooge McDuck not even needing to hit an item in this matchup because you really just need a 4/4 body.
Yep, get that body on the board, 4/4, the perfect stat line to take out that Daisy there. Here we have the judge call, judge coming over. Sometimes we cut away from these, but it's fun to see this interaction here if you're a player. Because as you pointed out, Dick, if these things do happen,
Right. And it can be intimidating for a
it
lot of
can.
people.
It can. But the right thing to do if you're unsure, and notice what Joshua did there. He literally didn't touch anything. As soon as it happened, threw up his hand, left the board exactly as it was, and called for that judge to come over and rule how we were going to fix this.
Yeah, and it's always better to call a judge on yourself than having to, you know, just be like, oh, sorry, that didn't happen.
Yeah, now this deck being shuffled here, that workshop being on the bottom, giving information, to both players. So the judge is having him shuffle it up.
Right, because it was, in fact, a random card revealed. That's something that actually I don't think a lot of people think about, right? And they think about things like, oh, I don't really want to play one jump ahead because what if I ink something really important? A random card is a random card. You have to treat that as though it was anywhere else in your deck.
Absolutely. So that's Scrooge McDuck coming down on turn 4 here. That's a good body to answer some of this early aggression from Jack Shadows. Jack here has some songs to sing. We will sing Let the Storm Rage On that TPO, send it to discard pile, draw a card, drawing into another Let the Storm Rage On. So that'll be available there next turn. Let's see how aggressive we choose to be here.
Considering, he has a penny, the penny could give resist to the Daisy Duck, but then you're playing off curve. Instead, just going to say, you know what? You can't challenge at all next turn.
Yeah, John Silver coming down there. John Silver, I'm going to mess the sub name up. It's something chef. Coming down.
I believe Ship Chef.
Ship Chef.
Yep,
Ship's Cook.
Ship's Cook.
So close. I was right. Or I was wrong. You were right. Half right anyway. Ship's Cook coming down saying that can't challenge. But instead, I've got another challenger.
Yep.
It's the ultimate challenger. Maui, hero to all, coming down, finishing that Daisy Duck in short order. Didn't even need the Scrooge. But luckily, that Scrooge won't be able to answer either one of those characters either.
Yeah. Best challenger, second best singer, only to Grandma Tala. Quest for 1 and pass turnover.
All right, we're back over to Jack Shadows. Managed to push the lower total to 5. Probably like it to be a little bit higher here, but still doing okay. We will sing that Storm Rage on, put 2 damage on the Maui to draw a card.
Yeah, Storm Rage on, not the ideal card. It is uninkable, of course. It's so good in the aggro matchups. It is so bad in the Sapphire Ruby matchups, and that's why they made it uninkable.
Rhino Power Hamster here, shifting 4/2 on top of the 1/16th Wolf. I think we're going to have, we're going to challenge into the Scrooge, remove that. That resist will come into play here. Resist 2, meaning that Rhino will not be banished.
Yeah, I was going to say, you kind of just want to take the free card here by banishing the Scrooge. It's rare that your character already in play is going to generate card advantage, so you take it when you can.
And Jack's clearing Joshua's board here. Joshua's going to be looked to rebuild some challenges. He has
Oh,
another
another
Maui.
Maui.
Maui hero to Joshua here coming down is going to clear up that Rhino. That resist goes away when it has damage on it. It doesn't matter anyway. Maui with enough power to, or strength rather, to take it off the
Yep.
board. So 2 damage there after the healing from the
Oh.
popsicle. And
And-
that ship's cook coming down now, saying Maui can't challenge again. It also can't quest, so it's just going to sit there next turn.
Unless it sings.
Unless it sings.
I do have a feeling, though, we're going into 7 ink. We're probably,
And
probably
it's
just
time
gonna
for
be prepared.
Be Prepared. I'm not going to sing it like Baker. I can't sing it.
Yeah.
Baker's ruined singing Be Prepared for everybody else.
I was told to stop. That it's just not good for me.
That's fair. Rapunzel coming down into an empty board now. But there we have the
Okay,
workshop.
starting
You
the
need
workshop.
the workshop
Okay.
into a Vitalosphere. That's the engine that Joshua needs to keep that card draw going. Flavisham went away, but workshop stayed around, and that's the thing that powers these decks now. But Jack's here pushing his lure up to 11 with 4 lure on the board. So Joshua can draw a lot of cards, but he needs to find some
Needs
removal.
to find a Sisu, and he
And
found
there
one.
it is. That it's like you're a savant, Dick. You've been doing this all day. The Sisu coming down, removing that Rapunzel, but we still have 2 lore on the board. That still feels pretty good. Is that another piglet we drew into?
I
or
believe a lady, but he's
lady.
going to instead remove the shift target. Yeah.
Okay, coming down, and we're going to quest. We're going to miss sending that lucky dime to the bottom. That probably
Right.
feels pretty good.
Yeah, probably the only one in the deck. So now knowing, you know what, I don't have to worry about that surprise lucky dime anymore.
Breathe a sigh of relief there.
Uh-oh, checking the discard pile.
You
It
know what
must
that
be-
means.
It must be someone that's happy as a clam.
He's not so shiny. He's happy as a clam and happy to pull back 2 popsicles. Basically, this Tamatoa says, play this card to board and also pay 2 ink to draw 2 cards.
Right, and having a Vitalosphere in play to boot, that is good.
Oh, and string the dock on curve, playing the lady and the dock for free.
Yes.
And then hitting 2 cards there. That feels really good. Great sequence from Jack Shadows.
Now he has to consider, do I want to play both of these characters next turn, or do I want to ink one and play one this turn? And opting to play both next turn, like we've said about these aggro decks, you got to get every drop you can out of your cards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, other Be Prepared's available. Sisu now available as well. So something to think about before you choose to go too wide. Popsicle coming down. Out of the discard pile. This recycled Popsicle. Nick Wild is making more each turn with those Popsicle sticks. Another happy as a clam to the discard or the inkwell. And there's
a
that
Sisu.
Sisu. And that decision not to put anything else on the board feels good now.
Yes.
Calhoun coming down.
And a penny.
And a penny. We resist 1 to the Calhoun. And we'll pass back over to Joshua.
Yeah, but if you're Josh here, even with the opponent only needing 7 lore, you've got to feel pretty good. You're not out of the clear yet, but you've still got to feel pretty good about the situation with all the ink you have. You've got your draw engines going.
Yeah, you just need to find a little bit of removal every single turn. That's it. So if you run into, I mean, the danger here for Joshua, if you run into a streak of cards that are not removal or don't do anything to address Jack's board state, then Jack can slowly creep higher. But it's gonna be there's a lot of removal available, and when you're able to draw with that workshop every turn, like you said, you do feel pretty good. But the Great Stone Dragon coming down here. This is a card that has bounced in and out of the meta. Sometimes people run 1 or 2 of them here, usually for the mirror.
And there
I
is
feel
that
like
little piece of removal you were talking about.
just that one.
This Great Stone Dragon, of course, signed by Tomaz, the Great Stone Dragon himself. Shout out to Tomaz.
You love to see it when players, are honored as well as the artists and the game creators. So yeah, shout out there to another fantastic community member.
And that's going to be the game. Jack Shadows sees the writing on the wall. Joshua takes the first game.
Wow, that's that's sometimes, especially when you're playing games that you think can go long, you scoop early, or perhaps you have secrets or surprises you don't want to reveal, or I know there's this debate about early scoops, and playing things out when the writing's on the wall. It continues to rage a little bit. I know JDZ in the chat, he's been here all day in the chat, locked into this tournament, is always a big fan of, he always says, the early scoop. If that the writing's on the wall, like why waste the mental energy? So
Right.
yeah.
Also, you never know when another game is just going to go way longer than you would ever anticipate.
It's true.
Habibi actually is constantly saying, I have a feeling someone's going to do a power play in the ICL, win game 1, scoop game 2, be on the play immediately for game 3.
You know what? I like it. I like it. You know, we saw something like that from DKP in the finals of the Worlds,
Right.
where a
Yeah.
very, very early concession in one of those games, knowing that he was favored in the kind of the next two deck choices. So, kind of the perfect example on the highest stage of a player saying, you know what, this game, I know where this is going. It may take 15 minutes, but I know where it's going. So I'm just gonna scoop now and move on to the next game.
Yeah, especially when you've played hundreds and hundreds of games in a certain matchup, you basically know what position you are in at all times, including the opening hand.
That's true. So we're watching the altar here. I didn't see how many Joshua shipped away.
5 and 5.
5 and 5.
Yep,
Okay,
they're equal.
it is even across the board. So here I believe Joshua is on the. Oh no, Jack Shadow's on the play again, having lost
Right.
that game.
Yeah, being on the play. I mean,
Actually, I take it back. He was sorry. I think Joshua was on the play, right? I think the popsicle came down first.
I believe Joshua was on the play. I was going to say being on
Yeah.
the play huge for Ruby Sapphire. Like this game, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Shadows could, with reasonable hands, could close this out so quickly.
Ooh,
Ooh.
but I mean, it's a little awkward here. I mean,
Lot
we have
of
a
actions.
dock, which is not good till later. The two strengths, which is not great. One of those will immediately
no
go into the
one
discard
drop.
pile. No one drop. This feels kind of bad.
No one drop from Joshua.
No one
as
drop
well.
from Joshua either. I mean, but the one drop's not necessary. What is necessary is the ramp. So we'll see if he has that. We just drew the one turn
Yes,
Cinderella.
of course.
Of course, you draw to turn late.
Yeah, and we didn't have a 2-drop other than Doc.
So saving that dock for later. So again, unfortunate opening here for Jack Shadows. We'll see if Joshua.
Josh dropped a card.
That will happen retrieving that card there. We will send the Great Stone Dragon to the discard pile.
Mr. Tomas is inked.
And we do have the Tipo. So ramp on curve here. Send a card to the Inkwell and back over to Jack Shadow. So pretty much on script there for Joshua. That is the script. If you don't, especially if you don't hit the turn one, the real important part of it is that turn 2 ramp. Pete head to the discard pile here, and it's Lady Family Dog, which will bring the Piglet in for free.
Okay, and that can catch you up.
That can catch you up. So that's Cinderella questing there. That catches you up pretty well. You drop another character next turn, and all of a sudden you have 5 lore on those 2 characters. Azurite Sea into the Inkwell.
Yes, I love this from Joshua. A lot of people think ramp on 2 very important. Obviously, it is. I think very important when you're on the draw is to go ramp on 2 and ramp on 3, and then following that up with a brawl as the Sailor Azurite Sea puts the ink into play, readied, because it's just an additional ink step.
Yeah, that brawl there is going to be pretty important. That keeps 3 lore off the board. I don't know if he found it at the right time or if he had it, but Jack's only able to go to 4 this turn.
Okay, no Maui from Joshua, as he's only exerting 3. So if I'm Jax, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Establishing a workshop. It is so rough to find a good time to establish a workshop, honestly.
Yep. And then flipping that brawl there from the Inkwell. Yep, Vitalosphere coming into play. Yeah, it's one of those cards, the workshop, it's uninkable. You have to play it eventually. It's kind of a rock in your hand. You need to get it on the board. And here, that Tipo into the Lady. It's back over to Jack Shadow.
Yeah, Jack may be regretting not banishing the Tipo with the strength in his hand, hoping for a larger target, but Vitalosphere can turn anything into.
Oh, and there's the be prepared. And
Yeah.
this is what you talked about, Dick, the importance of that double ramp, getting to 7 ink as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Getting to that be prepared turn, so shuts that down. Calhoun coming out now. I think we're going to see this dock and perhaps that card discarded. There we go, to draw 2 new cards. So that hitting that dock at pretty much the right time, recharge the board a little bit, but that's not a lot of lore, unfortunately. And now it is, that dock is gone. That Sisu coming down. We did draw into a Lady now, so we can rebuild a little bit here, go a little wide, but unfortunately not a ton of lore again. We're going to reduce the strength there of that Sisu with the hamster. I don't know that will loom terribly large, but we will turn sideways here with the Calhoun, get another lore.
Yeah, we can basically freely quest with the Calhoun, because if they're challenging Calhoun with Sisu, you basically gained 3 lore because they did not. Oh, Gramatala.
Gramatala coming down. Going to look at a couple cards here.
Yeah, that's like Grandma Tala or something that just lets you filter cards is exactly what you need when you have no cards in hand as the Ruby Sapphire player. And he does opt to challenge. So, yeah, that's something that I'm perfectly happy with if I'm Jack Shadows. I might even take the Cinderella and run it into the Sisu, or just be like, you know what? I'll just quest with everything and we're fine here.
Well, he sends the hamster in, putting
Josh
that
laughing at himself
because
because
it is a 4
his
willpower
character was Spanish.
character. You just have to do the math there, make sure it matches up. But so it's an interesting choice because you can run it in so that it doesn't clear out, what you don't prefer he clears out. But he's going to run that Sisu in anyway, most likely, and trade it. So, but Jack's choosing to do it himself there. Vitalosphere coming down with a Happy as a Clam. We're going to ink the coil. We're going to use the Vitalosphere,
yeah.
and now double challenge.
Right. So what Jack was hoping for was that, well, if I'm going to go ahead and do the challenging myself, I can get an extra quest out of this lady that quests for 2. And the clam there, the Happy as a Clam there, returning the Vitalosphere is just like,
No.
1 damage on Mr. Smee.
And now no cards in hand for Jax. He is up to 13. But Joshua here this is the board state he likes. Lots of ink in play. He's got the clam, he's got the workshop, and he has a Maui,
Another Maui.
which is great at challenging. And we're going to brawl. So just every answer here, clearing the board. And now this is a real uphill climb. I mean, it's not impossible. Joshua has to have answers for ready characters every turn. And Jax is just going to drop a character, drop a
Right.
character, hope to draw a dock, I think.
Hope a dock. Yeah, absolutely.
But, Joshua without a lot of cards in hand either. So, he can start questing here. So this is not game over. And here we go. We're going to get 2 lore out of this. We're going to sing this song. We're going to choose the Maui, banish that, draw a card. Is it another character? It looks like a hamster, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, and Joshua not wanting to quest with the Grandma Tala in case a Rapunzel is drawn.
So here we go. That Happy as a Clam is going to finish off that Lawrence, who gets +4 strength as long as he has no damage. That'd be enough to clear up the clam, and we drop the Tipo. But now, Josh, not a lot of cards in hand either. So it is a Piglet. Piglet on his own is a Piglet. He's adorable. Small little animal.
And the other card in Jack's hand.
Oh, that's so
okay.
sad.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
The other card is Pete, games referee. If he just draws a 1-drop, which he would have.
Yep.
He would have had the Piglet questing for 3, and Josh could not play actions.
So again, not completely.
No, it's not over until it's over.
Have that coil, draw a card.
His coils were in fact unslinkied. I don't know if that's a me and Katie joke or a me and you joke, but
that's a you and Katie joke. But I also love it. That Pete getting removed.
They're always stuck together like a slinky.
Like a slinky. All tangled. So there we draw the dock. That's not terrible. We're going to draw 2 cards here. We drew a Power Hamster. We draw a Penny. Sorry, a 1/16 Wolf and Penny. So now we can put 1 more card in play. Jack's doing the math here. Does he have enough to close out the game this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does not. Just trying to see what are my outs here.
Yeah, a shift Sisu would do it, I believe.
So just trying to think this through.
Yeah, really, he needs to present check on the following turn, and he can't. So what he really needs to do is then bank on drawing something like a storm, and questing with everything this turn, hoping Josh will use some of his characters to challenge Jax instead of questing with them.
So here we are, just going to take that little bit of lore off the board. Resist coming in from Penny there, and we are going to quest with the Cinderella. So removing that Tala, who she can sing, she can dance, she can quest. Oh, Popsicle coming down. Going to draw an extra card from the workshop here. So able to dig a little bit, dig a little deeper.
Yep, shout out to DKP, his favorite card. I don't know if that's true, but he's the only person I've ever seen play it.
Oh, it's 7. Is it Hades? What do you play for 7 here? The diamond, and this is another dime.
It looks like we have a judge call. All right, so we have a judge call.
Yeah.
Not sure what, but
Yeah, interesting. Like, I'm doing the math. What's 7? I mean, your friend Hades, you're not going to be prepared. So is it a dime? Hmm.
Yeah, was this the game that the dime went to the bottom? No, right?
It
That was during game 1.
was it game 1? I thought it might have been this. I don't know. The game's long. Maybe 2. I don't know.
Yeah. So, God, if Satterfield can pull this off, his worst matchup, got to be feeling good. Can draw into the last round. Again, chat, you guys can debate all you want on if that's okay or not, but I'm for it. It's within the rules.
Yeah. There's there's some arguments like the draw argument, etc., which there is no right answer. There's
Right.
people who are very passionate about either side, and nobody's gonna be moved, and both answers are right. So I don't know.
Is it Schrodinger's question?
It's Schrodinger's question is both right and wrong at the same time.
Bazinga.
Bazinga. So yeah, it is. It's a good point. I mean, this is his worst matchup, unfortunately, for Joshua's opponent. Like his opening, not great on the
Right.
play,
Yeah.
and so a little bit of a rough time there.
And it honestly was so important for Josh to double ramp because that saved him 4 lore. He'd be sitting at 17 right now with this board state.
So it is the diamond hand. So I
Yes.
think that's what we're trying to figure out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the challenge I think is we're trying to figure out if perhaps if he'd already inked that turn, because he would have needed to ink another one to be able to play the diamond, use the diamond the same turn. But clearly, after talking about it, that seems to be what would have happened. And players are scooping, and Joshua takes that. Joshua Satterfield, one of our bounty players, taking that in 2 games.
Yeah, one of our featured players. 2 games into his arguably worst or second worst matchup.
Okay. So one of the notes he played Doc and challenged in the same turn.
So it was actually Satterfield's opponent played a Doc, drew 2 cards, and then challenged with the Doc in the same turn.
Got it. Okay. So I'm sure chat had that figured out a while ago. Chat sees everything. But
Sure.
yeah, sometimes when you're playing quickly like that, those questions about did I ink this turn? Sometimes did I play that this turn? As you're thinking through things, so I'm sure no ill intent there from
Right.
the opponent. But
I mean, on the ICL, I've played I have both, and I've had opponents play a Rapunzel, and then like have a really long turn where they then ink again, or forgot to pay the 4 for the Rapunzel, and then played something else, and like even Wonderland has done that, like, and has talked about on the ICL him accidentally doing that before, especially when you have these intricate things of like, okay, what do I need to do, and then you draw cards, and then you have new options, and you basically like get into a zone, and it's just a very common thing.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.